Welcome back to Cosmic Life Astrology. Today we are talking about the Aries solar eclipse happening on March 29th. I apologize that I didn't get this out sooner. I have been sick and it has been getting worse, and I've been holding off on taping this until I got better, but now it's gotten to a point where I need to get this out to you guys because I always like getting the videos out before the actual transit that's happening occurs, so this way you're forewarned and know what to expect. So for this eclipse, we are saying goodbye to the Aries eclipse cycle. This is the last one. We had the first one in April of 2023 at 29 degrees Aries, and then another one in April 2024 at 19 degrees Aries, and now this final one is at 9 degrees Aries. So if you have anything within 5 degrees of the eclipse point on both sides, so say 4 to 14 degrees of Aries, you're going to feel this significantly. And for anyone that has any natal planets in fire or air signs, obviously around those degree points, you will have you should have some positive developments occur. Now, I say should because I remember, and I'm going to give a personal example to help you understand, for those of you who are looking at your charts. When the April 2023 Aries eclipse occurred, I was expecting an engagement at that time because it was making a trine to my natal Mercury and Neptune. I was in a committed relationship we were already living together, and so an engagement was already being talked about and so forth. However, the eclipse started showing me yellow flags. And a few months after that Aries solar eclipse, that relationship ended. During the beginning of Venus retrograde too. And so sometimes when you see eclipses make a positive connection with a natal planet or any transit, right? Sometimes trines are not always a positive experience, but it's a connection that means that something's going to happen, right? Something's going to develop. And you have to look at where it happens in your chart to understand, what potentials of things that may be changing or happening during that time. For me, this was 11th and 7th house, so I knew it was going to be regarding my relationship. And so, when the 2024 Aries eclipse happened, that also squared my natal Venus. And at the time, I started online dating, met some guys, and then realized that online dating was just not for me. Then a few months later, met someone randomly who was marvelous, and timing for him was just not marvelous. And so there was that, a new beginning, squaring my natal Venus, making my love and dating life very difficult. And so here I am with this third eclipse, and I'm not sure what to expect. It is sextiling my natal Mars, which could be great, and we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted on that, but I'm giving you my personal experience to help you understand, as you're looking at your charts, what the possibilities of certain connections could bring, right? Sometimes squares are a good thing, and sometimes trines are a bad thing, and vice versa. Sometimes trines are great, and sometimes squares are great. It all depends on what's going on in your life, what needs to shift, right? Eclipses are a great time to shift things that need to be shifted, that we may not do it on our own volition, but it has to be done. And so the universe speaks to us and tells us these things in its own way, and that's why I love astrology. So nevertheless, getting into this eclipse, it is the last of the Aries eclipse, and we have Venus and Mercury retrograding right now. Mars, the ruler of the eclipse, is still in post-retrograde shadow. So Mars is still taking baby steps forward. So nothing's going to change quickly during eclipse season, or at least for most of us, because we have the personal planets all moving very slow. 2 are moving backwards, 1's moving at a toddler's pace. So I wouldn't expect, you know, quick movement. I wouldn't expect things to develop quickly during this time. However, I do expect that the Venus and Mercury retrograde, because of where they both started, which is on the eclipse point, I do think that they have been preparing us for the new beginning that's available to us during this eclipse. And I do think we will see momentum really pick up after Mercury and Venus and their retrograde cycle. So that'll be officially over. Venus is last, and she goes direct again on April 12th. And coincidentally, on the same day, we have a Libra full moon. And so we're going to talk about that, because I found that to be pretty interesting when I noticed the timing of the two. That's definitely going to, you know, for one, when the personal planets are all moving forward, that definitely is helpful for us to get things going, put things in action. But this eclipse is the end of a cycle that has been going on for the past 2 years. So you may have had things begin, you know, that are now ending, or vice versa. Things end where you now have a new beginning. We're shifting tides here. We're changing chapters. We're turning the page. And to top it off, we have the eclipse in a loose sextile to Pluto and a loose sextile to Jupiter. I say loose because, you know, Pluto's at 3 degrees Aquarius and Jupiter's at 15 of Gemini, I believe it is. So it's not a tight sextile, but it is a sextile by sign. And I do think that Jupiter and Pluto are going to help us with the big new beginnings, the big new changes, the big new developments that an eclipse can bring for you. So I want you to check if you have anything natally between 4 and 14 degrees of Aries, or if you have anything in the fire or air signs making a connection to this eclipse point, because that'll be of significance for you to take a look at. And right now, with all the Pisces energy at play still, there's still some fogginess in the air. There's still, you know, like tug of war, right, between what's real and what's not. And I think when Neptune moves into Aries the day after this eclipse, we're going to start seeing the reality of everything, right? And I'll make a separate video on Neptune and Aries, but I do think that'll help bring clarity to everyone. And it moves slow, so it's, you know, this isn't going to happen overnight, but it is a shift in the energy. And then in May, Saturn will follow and move into Aries, helping making things tangible for the long term, putting in that work to get things done, to build something real, right? Make a separate video on that and we'll talk about it. So we have a lot that's going to help us bring in the new this year. We have transits that none of us have seen in our lifetime happening this year, and some where we have seen it before. And so if you connect the dots to some of the past cycles of what happened during the Aries eclipses in the past 2 years, and, you know, what has transpired the last time the nodes were in Virgo and Pisces, you'll get a sense of what to expect during these transits. Nothing is ever going to be exactly the same, because the stars are not going to be, and the planets are not going to be in the exact same place that they were during those prior cycles, but it'll give you an idea. So I hope this helps. I hope you guys have a great eclipse. I hope this eclipse season is good to all of you. I hope the changes that come are beneficial for all of you. I hope it helps you, you know, better your life in whatever way you need it to better your life. And for those of you where you don't see anything significant happen, just know that that means you're on the right track with whatever you're doing, and that's a wonderful thing. So forgive me for making this a short video. My head is pounding and I could barely breathe, and it's, yeah, this, I don't know if it's the solar eclipse energy that's draining me. I haven't been sick like this for a while, but nevertheless, I do need to cut this one short. But stay tuned as I make more videos. I will always be back to talk about what's going on in the cosmos. So I hope you all have a great weekend, a great eclipse, and take care, everyone.